presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
As everybody knows, a lot of history in Detroit, especially old Tiger Stadium. Ty Cobb, just one of the many greats that played and wore this Tiger uniform. And the Angels trying to pick up game 2 against the Tigers today from Comerica Park. We're not inside Comerica Park. We are just across the street from Old Tiger Stadium. You can see the flagpole from Old Center Field behind us as we welcome you back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West. He's Mark Gubiza, and I'm Victor Rojas. And Gubi, I would imagine that there's a lot of history for you and a lot of memories for you coming back here.
Yeah, a lot of really good memories, Victor. As a matter of fact, I remember 1984 when the Tigers had that magical year. They swept us out of the playoffs in the crazy atmosphere here, giving up a couple of 3-run home runs to Kirk Gibson in my career. But I just love the history of this ballpark. When you think about it, Fred Lynn hit a grand slam in an all-star game in this ballpark. So much history, a lot of fun. Great infield grass. I just didn't seem to ever use that. I was a fly ball pitcher for some reason in this ballpark.
Oh, you can't forget about Reggie Jackson's huge home run in the All-Star game as well. Speaking of home runs, Cole Calhoun has been swinging the bat very well. Last night got things started with a home run in the first.
Yeah, Victor, when you think about it, that ball was to left field, about that 345 sign down the left field corner. 4 home runs in his last 7 games, batting average just under 480. So he's seen the ball well. He's using the whole field. He's letting the baseball travel, and that's why he's having a lot of success. And he's also mixing in some walks during this stretch. So he's very patient, using the whole field and driving the ball.
All right, Jesse Chavez picked up the win last night. Alex Myers on the mound, had a very good outing the last time out.
Yeah, he did, and he also threw a pretty good game against the Tigers early in the season. He's got a very good curveball. You're going to need that. They hit the fastball very, very well when you look at this lineup. Very dangerous 1 through 9. They can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Utilizing that curveball, very important, but also getting some quick outs with his fastball. 93 to 98, consistently lower part of the strike zone. Needs to do that again here today.
Oh, we're getting you ready for game 2 of this 3-game set between the Angels and the Tigers. When we return to Comerica Park, we'll talk about the Angels' recent success in this ballpark.
Victor make their way back from all Tiger Stadium. Jose Mora with you here at Comerica Park, where the Angels, since 2015, have had great success in containing what we always know is a very deep lineup for the Tigers, regardless of who's in it. But part of that success has been why? Because they've been able to throw some zeros, and the bullpen has played a huge part of that. Let's look at the bullpen and what they've done here at Comerica. Angels 5-2 since 2015. Why? Well, how about the saves? 4 for 4. How about the holes? Like last night we saw when Norris get that save in tough situation. The ERA has been outstanding. Only 2 earned runs in 22 2/3 innings. Last night, of course, we know what happened. And certainly the Angels know they need more of that to be more successful on the road. And certainly enjoying and looking forward to this one here, trying to take the series. Mark and Victor, I think they're back. Yes, they are. They'll be your first pitch right after this.
Local Southern California Land Rover retailers. By Jack in the Box, come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for limited time only. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Welcome back out to Comerica Park. Game 2 of a 3-game set. The Angels last night hanging on and hanging on tightly. 5-3 victory. Tigers made it interesting in the 9th inning, loading them up, but Alex Avila striking out to end the game as Bud Norris notched the save and runs the Angels record now to 30-31 on the season. Game number 62. The Halos now tied for second. And 13 back. Astros had their 11-game winning streak snapped yesterday. So they did pick up a game in the standings. It's a lineup that Mike Scioscia is running out there today. And we continue to see the flip-flop at first base. Not flip-flop. I guess the platoon is better term for what Mike Scioscia does at first base. C.J. Cron last night homered, not in the lineup today with a right-hander on the mound. He opts to go to Luis Valbuena.
And Luis Valbuena, we talked about trying to get that swing a little bit more level, especially in this ballpark. I see him to be able to try to drive the ball well to left center field and have a successful game with his bat tonight. His hitting right now at this point 167, but does 3 home runs. I look for that extra base swing from Luis tonight.
That Angels lineup will take on the 26-year-old right-hander native of Conyers, Georgia, by the name of Buck Farmer.
And he will have a good fastball, not overpowering, but he spots it well in the upper part of the strike zone. 90-94 slider, cut fastball, curve, and change. My go-tos to be successful against Farmer, though, is you got to try to lay off that high fastball. He tries to get you the swing of that pitch out of the strike zone and score early before he settles in. Very good game from his first start out earlier this season.
Georgia native, 5th round pick of the Tigers in 2013 out of Georgia Tech, making his 2nd start of the season. Had a very good one against the White Sox on May 27th. 11 strikeouts in 6 1/3. Allowing 3 hits. Andrelton Simmons ready to lead things off for the Angels. First one tonight is chopped foul. No balls and a strike. Beautiful, beautiful day here in Detroit. 78 degrees
in June here. That's fantastic.
Andrelton hitting .268, 10 doubles, 6 home runs, 23 runs batted in. 1 for 3 game yesterday. They'll pop this one foul and out of play. Andrelton also drew a walk and stole a base last night. Angels managed 6 hits. Tigers had 10. Angels made theirs count, 2 of them anyway, with the long ball. Calhoun and Crone. There's a look at the beautiful skyline here in Detroit. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And when you look at percentage of pitches thrown for Farmer so far, about 64% will be his fastball. He'll throw quite a few sliders, but his changeup a very effective pitch. An occasional curveball.
There's a breaking ball line to left field. Justin Upton puts it away for the first out of the game. Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. We just saw Upton in left field. Presley's in center. Martinez in right. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Cabrera from third to first, and Avila behind the plate.
Iglesias, we saw that outstanding shortstop ability on display last night. He's been very good since 2013 as far as fielding percentage. .985. It's the second best amongst all Major League Baseball shortstops. Only 12 Peralta higher than him at .986. Very good throwing arm. He's turned 24 double plays this season for the Tigers.
Cole will look at a strike. Calhoun last night ended up getting on base 3 times. A 2 for 2. Home run, a single, a walk. Also had a sac fly. A couple of runs batted in. .234 batting average. Home run he hit last night in the first inning. His 9th of the season. Now with 23 runs batted in.
I mean, think about it, though. When you go back to May 30th for Coleman, his batting average .205. He's got his batting average up 29 points now to .234. A lot of that has to do with his patience at the plate also.
High fastball.
That's that pitch. He's going to get a majority of his strikeouts. The high fastball there, or his changeup out of the strike zone, lower part of the strike zone. Albert Pujols on deck.
2-2. The ground ball into the shift. That's Castellanos, the third baseman. That's a 5-3 put out from the right side of the infield. 2 down. And it'll bring up Albert. Quite hitless last night, going 0 for 4, but hit the ball hard. Continues to do that with some regularity.
Albert, good numbers against Farmer. 2 for 3 with a home run.
Takes a strike.
I saw that earlier in the stands, and I said, Trout's in the building here today.
Yep. He snuck in.
Yes, he did.
And he didn't even text you to let you know. How about that? Isn't that crazy? Are you okay? You going to survive?
Well, he did have his Eagle jersey underneath that Angels jacket there, too.
Think so?
Yes. Good effort, though. He had that on all during batting practice. Pre-game show into the game. It's good to see Mike Trout here to support.
1-1. That's in there, 1-2. .243 average for Albert. 9 home runs, 42 runs batted in. He'll hit this one sharply right to short. Iglesias has it. Again, we were just talking about hard contact, barreling up baseballs, but right to the shortstop. The Angels down and order. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Alex Meyer on the mound with no score. Tigers last night with a loss, now at 28-29 on the season, third place in the Central, 2.5 games back. And Brad Ausmus running out the exact same lineup as we saw last night. Why not? They had 10 hits. They just couldn't get the clutch hit with men in scoring position. And Justin Upton, a guy that you wanted to focus on tonight.
When you think about it, he's got 23 extra base hits this season for the Tigers. So often you talk about Cabrera, both Martinez, but Justin Upton has been very, very good, along with 31 RBI for J-Up.
Alex Myers on the mound. This will be his 7th start of the season. 2-2 record, a 4.91 ERA, coming off a very good start in his last time out.
He attacked the strike zone with his fastball. His curveball has been very good. And he also has pitched well against the Tigers this season. He's 1-0, went into the 6th inning, into the 7th inning and pitched very well against them. That fastball command always important for him.
One of his 2 wins against Detroit. That was back on May 14th. Striking out 7, walking 2. Ian Kinsler, the leadoff man, off the DL yesterday. As Alex falls behind at 2 balls and no strikes. Kinsler last night ended up going 1 for 4 with a double, his 7th of the season. 239 average overall. 2-1.
That pitch had some serious movement in the fastball count. See those numbers, very solid for him. Still trying to maintain control in the strike zone.
3-1 count. Those last 4 against Minnesota, the Mets, the Tigers, and the Athletics.
That front shoulder always so important for Alex Meyer, to keep that front shoulder in and bring that elbow up where he can stay on top of the baseball more consistently.
Broken bat, little flare. Pennington cuts down, puts it away for the first down. Let's take a look at the Angels on the defensive side of things tonight. Rivera left, Young in center, Calhoun in right. The infield, Escobar and Simmons on the left side. Pennington and Valbuena on the right. So an entire right side of the infield is new tonight. Maldonado back behind the plate.
And we talk about Cole swinging the bat well, but he's also been very solid defensively. When you look at the totals of outfield assists, 31 of them since 2014 as right fielders, and it's been as good as anybody in the game. Cole Calhoun won a Gold Glove back in 2015.
Alex Avila is the man that struck out to end the game. Went down looking on a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded. 2 for 4 game overall with a home run and a single. A couple runs scored. Alex didn't like the call last night. The home plate umpire
So you're kind of looking forward to a check swing here on a breaking ball at some point from Alex Meyer, and an appeal down to Andy Fletcher at third base.
There's that check swing. Didn't ask for an appeal, though, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
That'd always be worth it. Although, that was a strike that he called. It was a backdoor cut fastball, catch in the corner.
Alan Porter calling the balls and strikes tonight. Joe West at first. Hunter Wendelstedt at second. Andy Fletcher, the man behind the plate last night, at third base.
Well,
a little bit more under control there.
That's that good curveball. You know, we think it go back to that pitch last night to end the game for Bud Norris against Alex Avila. Here you see him full 3-2 count right on that outside corner. Look at our Fox tracks. Froze him.
He was asked after the game, what did you say to Andy Fletcher? He said, I said it wasn't a strike. Then he was asked what did Andy Fletcher said, and Andy Fletcher said it was a strike. Basically, like you like to say, what did I call it?
Yes. Many times go in there, run in their video op. I said, where was that pitch at? What did the umpire call? Said it was a ball. Well, it was a ball. Oh, it was right down the middle. What did he call? A ball. Oh, okay, it was a ball. Credit Martin Maldonado framing that pitch and giving Andy Fletcher a good look at that pitch, especially who we know was on deck in Miguel Cabrera.
That would have made it 5-4 with Cabrera up and the bases loaded. As Avila shoots from the left side. Escobar didn't lay out for it until the ball was by him. Well, it's a single for Alex. And Cabrera comes up.
Tell you what, Avila's using the entire field. Stay back. It was a pretty good fastball there from Alex Meyer. It's that ground ball by Yunel Escobar at third base.
Cabrera last night 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Just blew that fastball right by him.
Pretty good combination here for Alex Meyer against Miguel Cabrera. As good as a hitter as he is against the curveball this year, only hitting he's hitting 0.67. And Alex Meyer throwing his curveball, batting average against him at 132 versus his curveball. 7th best in the majors for Alex Meyer as far as curveball and success with that pitch.
No balls, 2 strikes.
You see Miguel with his struggles against the curveball this season. 0.67 in his career, though, a 291 hitter versus a curveball.
There's the 0-2. Breaking ball that misses. Cabrera hitting .275 on the season. 10 doubles, 5 home runs, 26 runs batted in.
Cabrera took that curveball pretty well. It wasn't that far out of the strike zone. I would imagine Alex will go right back to it again. That time he overthrew that one well out of the strike zone. Now it's a dangerous count. It's a 2-2 count. Cabrera will be looking fastball now.
Avila over at first base, a 1-out single. Full count.
What if Avila will be on the move, especially considering that Cabrera's rolled into 6 double plays.
Avila's on the move, and doesn't matter because it's ball 4. So 2 long with 1 out. And this after starting Cabrera at an 0-2 count.
Yeah, the 0-2 curveball that he threw was a very good one. He didn't have to do anything more than that. If he threw that almost the exact same spot, you're going to have a chance to get him to swing at it. But the next one was well out of the strike zone. It threw off his arm angle, and it kind of carried on the next 2 pitches. I think the mindset right now, if you're Alex Myers, is get back to trusting that 2-seam fastball, that running action, see if you can get a ground ball. He's had 2 double plays turned behind him this season. Victor Martinez generally pretty aggressive on the first pitch. Try to use that against him. Fastball away and down. Get him hit that ball on the ground.
Victor on cue, fouling it off. 263 average for the DH. 1 hit last night. It was a double into the right field corner.
Yeah, this infield grass at Comerica Park, a little bit different than where we were at earlier today. Tiger Stadium, that infield grass was incredibly thick. You'd have to crush a baseball to get it through the infield. This one, quicker. Although still pretty good as far as you get the ball on the ground, you got a chance to get it in an infielder, get a double play turn.
Avila second, Cabrera at first. Not a whole lot of speed on the bases. Sliced foul. Now 2 fastballs, 2 fouls off on a third base side. Late on the fastball.
You have to stay with it. It's exactly where we thought he would throw the fastball, right on the outside corner. You can almost try this fastball a little bit further away, but you have to keep it down. If it's up, he can punch that ball the other way. Down, very difficult to do so. So think in terms of a half a baseball or a baseball off the outside corner.
Breaking ball, gets him looking. Down goes Victor, 2 outs. I guess the saving grace on that breaking ball is that it was on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, that last curveball right on the outside corner. Then we were thinking a fastball maybe there or a little bit off.
But we're thinking away.
Yes.
That's kind of the mindset.
Exactly. You don't want to go inside. It looked like initially they were trying to go middle in on the curveball. You'd run right into that swing path for Victor Martinez. Froze him on that outside corner after 2 really good fastballs on that outside spot. Looked like a changeup there from Meyer first pitch against JD Martinez, who has the plate covered very well. He can drive the ball the other way. He's been pretty good against a curveball this season. 273 batting average for JD Martinez versus a curveball.
Howard got Maldonado. No balls, 2 strikes. Martinez will walk it off. Square right in the jaw.
And we think about how many games he has started already this season, his career high. Back with Milwaukee, 66 of them.
And a swing and a miss. Talk about being fooled on a breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Alex. We will head to the second. Scoreless.
real good curveball. We talked about that curveball and the batting average against. You can see why.
Chevy dealers find new roads. Those scores, we start the second. Escobar, Valbuena, and Maldonado against Buck Farmer, who had a 1-2-3 first. A fly out and a couple of ground outs. Escobar hitting .282. 9 doubles, 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in. 1 for 3 last night with a double and a walk. Takes outside.
Now for Escobar, you're just sitting on a fastball, though. What we've seen from Farmer this season, he's been able to throw his changeup in hitters' counts.
This is hit towards short, and Iglesias is there. One down.
In my Hyundai key for this game for the Angels to be successful here, Detroit native Bob Seeger, you'll accompany me. And that means getting guys on base and scoring multiple runs in an inning. That's going to be very important against Farmer. Doesn't allow many base runners, so when you get on base, someone to drive them on home.
Valbuena takes a strike.
That's the pitch right there for Valbuena. Well, he'll drive very well to left center field when he's locked in. Able to lay off that changeup off the outside corner.
High fastball. Takes the count to 1-2. 2 doubles, 3 home runs for Luis Valbuena. That's a called strike 3. 2 down. First strikeout for Farmer. Lower part of the zone.
First pitch fastball was away, then a changeup, and fastball in, fastball back inside and catches the inside corner at 91. Again, not overpowering, but spots his fastball well with some late movement. And what you're seeing a lot in baseball right now, pitchers, even though they don't necessarily have to have the best fastball, just that upper part of the strike zone four-seamer. It's getting a lot of hitters either swing and miss or pop up. And he's able to mix in his two-seam fastball, lower part of the strike zone. It's very good. His first start, you see the range as far as his speeds. Best fastball, 92, so not overpowering. Curveball, 77.
Martin Maldonado at 263 on the season. 0 for 4 last night with a couple of strikeouts. Behind in the count of no balls, 2 strikes. Slow breaking ball and it misses. Farmer, a AAA this year, 10 starts down there. 2 and 3 with a 3.86 ERA, 56 strikeouts and 12 walks. Pitched in 14 games last year for the Tigers, just 1 start. 2-2.
See those numbers down in AAA, 56 strikeouts and 16 2/3 innings pitched.
That's a little soft liner out to right center field. It's a base hit on a 2-2 count.
Oh, change up upstairs.
2-out single, first base run of the game for the Angels.
What I've seen so far early on from him, he's really pitched inside well, pitched away very well. This time a breaking ball, curveball. Outer part of the strike zone, but elevated. Well, when you look at Ben Revere, then we always talk about that little hitch he has. You would think it'd be a difficult task for him to hit the high fastball from Farmer tonight. So he's going to have to try to bring that either his curveball or changeup in the lower part of the strike zone. Very difficult to bring your hands up and you have that movement in the bat as the pitch is delivered. And he's trying to stay upstairs with his fastball against him. He's been very quick throughout his career as far as getting on top of the baseball. Even with that little hitch he has in his swing, his timing mechanism.
Starting left fielder tonight, he'll sky this one toward left center field. It's tailing back toward Justin Upton. And the Angels are done here in the second. Way to the bottom of the second inning with no score. brought to you by the Hyundai Better Than Ever sales event, with the best total savings on select models in Hyundai's history is going on now at your Hyundai dealer. No score, bottom of the second here, Comerica Park. Alex Meyer had some traffic on the base paths with one out, but then struck out. Martinez looking at J.D. Martinez swinging.
By the way,
out of that first.
Mike Trout just texted in and said sorry he's a little bit late. He was doing some rehab trying to get back into the lineup as quick as possible. Yeah. Just figured I'd let you know that.
Slacking a little bit, Trouty. Yeah. All right. You got to get that rehab done a little earlier. All right. We're on the East Coast. Game started 4 back home.
Yes.
Justin Upton lead things off. He'll be followed by Nick Castellanos and Alex Presley. Upton skying one. On first base side, this one slicing out of play. No balls in a strike. 258 average for the Tiger left fielder. 12 doubles, 11 home runs, and 31 runs batted in. One ball, one strike. No decision last time out against the Twins for Alex. It was on the first. 6 innings against Minnesota. 5 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks.
Good curveball once again for Alex Meyer.
And down goes Upton. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Meyer.
Oh, and that curveball also staying on top of that pitch, not overthrowing his curveball. It's been very, very effective. Starts in the strike zone, ends up out of the strike zone. That's your goal as a pitcher, especially with a breaking ball.
Nick Castellanos, the third baseman.
Another good curveball from Alex Meyer.
1 for 4 game last night for the Tiger third baseman. Hitting .220 now. Oh, foul tipped into the mitt.
98 with movement from Meyer on his fastball.
Stays under control, and right now he's already showing guys he can throw the breaking ball for strikes. It's kind of a pick 'em for you if you're as a hitter.
Tremendous range as far as pitch speeds. 98 on his 4-seam fastball, 84 in his slowest curveball so far. And he's worked hard to get ahead of counts. He's already had 4 0-2 counts in the game. He's faced 7 batters, 6 first pitch strikes. Very, very important for Alex Meyer.
That's a hit to second base. Pennington's there. 2 down. Looks like Luis had a little trouble with that. Seeing the baseball for Pennington there, right?
Did look a little bit idle on that throw over. And here's tonight's Cold Hard Facts, which are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. Mike Scioscia's had a lot of success against the Tigers. 40 games over 500, 637 winning percentage, best all time amongst all major league managers, minimum of 100 games. So Scioscia's had a lot of success. As we talked about over the last number of seasons, the Angels, whether they're here in Detroit or at home, against some very good Tiger teams.
Alex Presley takes outside. One ball with strike. Presley's the one that got things started last night with 2 outs in the 9th inning. 2-strike base hit the left.
Tell you what, that 1-0 fastball he just threw had a lot of late movement. Still think kind of like Garrett Richards and J.C. Ramirez, their best fastballs are generally going to be lower quadrants of the strike zone. Better movement. See that movement right there? 92 took a little bit off his fastball. Will change speeds with his fastball. That's more of a changeup for Alex Meyer.
Three-one count. Presley 6 for 20. He's being called up. 1 double, 1 home run, and 4 RBIs. And he walked up with 2 outs. Second walk of the game.
It's the one thing you try to eliminate if you're Alex Meyer is once you get a couple quick outs like he has in this inning, to end up falling behind and walking a batter. Just have that killer mentality of just finishing off the inning as quick as possible. It gives you a better chance to be in that 7th and 8th inning and put yourself in position to pick up a W. Presley will run a little bit, 2 stolen bases this season. Tigers with 20, but have been caught 15 times.
Jose Iglesias, the batter. Breaking ball misses. Iglesias hit .250 on the season. 1 for 4 last night with a single.
Pretty big lead. I think the trust in his fastball is so important for Alex Meyer. When you look at his pitch arsenal this season, fastball 65%, curveball, which has been solid of late, 33%, changeup, which is something I think he'll utilize more and more as he's more confident with his fastball first and foremost.
Two-out walk to Presley's at first.
Well, some life on those 95+ mile-an-hour fastballs already. 23 of them in the game for Alex Meyer, but there's some late movement on there. That's why you could say you get back to that trust. That's a wicked curveball.
Well, you could say that Alex is still kind of a work in progress, and not overthrowing the breaking ball is one of the things that he's got to work on. That's a fantastic one there.
Yes.
I'd also imagine too, though, is getting to the point where he's not maximizing everything on a fastball, on every fastball.
No.
Take a little bit off just to get it over. At 96, 95.
Especially because of the movement he creates.
Little flare out toward left center field. Revere comes in, and he'll put it away for the 3rd out. 2 complete here in Detroit. We're still scoreless. In a scoreless tie, Buck Farmer gave up a 2-out single. The only base runner the Angels have had in this game is Pennington. Will lead things off against Farmer, who has 1 strikeout. We welcome in Jose Mota from down in the camera well on the first base side. Jose, I want to talk a little bit about the other day, the Angels making the announcement that Vladimir Guerrero being inducted into the Angels Hall of Fame. August 26th, I believe, is the date that was announced. And I'm assuming that you are absolutely thrilled for Vladimir and his family, and that it's going to be really a special occasion in that August night.
Well, it is. I mean, having been there, Victor, and knowing what Vladdy means to the Angels family, to the baseball family, to the Dominican, and certainly what he did with the Angels in uniform and playing postseason, the thrill he brought to the ballpark, it means a whole lot to me, of course, as his friend, but also to the Angels fan. And Vladdy is absolutely ecstatic. Every time I talk about something, it's like, I can't believe this is happening. So, you know, it's well earned, as you know.
And Jose, he's arguably one of the most popular players that ever put on that Angel uniform. It's going to be a lot of fun that night.
It is, and you know, I think Vladdy's polishing off his English, Victor. So be ready, my friend.
You just need, with that smile he has, that's all he needs.
It's all he needs. We know that he can light it up very quickly.
Jose, stand by. There's a delay on the field right now, and Alan Porter, the home plate umpire, has asked the grounds crew or members of the grounds crew to come out.
As long as it has nothing to do with me down here, we're good.
No, they're not pointing at you or looking at you.
Okay, so Alan Porter is maybe some signage behind home plate, perhaps?
Not sure. It looks like they're asking for some dirt.
Maybe over by first base area.
But they wet it down too much, maybe?
Back to the Maury Wills days. What's going on here, Mark?
I was going to say they used to do that with all the Kansas City Royal teams over the years with Willie Wilson and all those guys all the time. They would put it out where it was a little bit wetter than normal as they try to get their leads and steal some bases.
Hey, Victor, you know what the amazing thing is? Who tried stealing here today?
Who's what? I'm sorry?
Who tried stealing a base here today?
Nobody's tried stealing a base yet. I think Joe West was kind of working it out over there, and he tried to take a lead and slipped. So that's why they're looking. There's the Cowboy. But they just wanted to take care of it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the Angels, although it was Martin Maldonado who got the base hit in the second inning, said, hey, it's a little slippery over there.
That's a great source for you. Martin will tell you.
Yes.
He might want it that way if he's a catcher, right?
Yes, you definitely want that. That way you can say, well, I did have the sign, but I just couldn't get my proper lead and get a good jump.
Putting the old diamond dry down on the dirt there, so it's a little bit of a delay, and that's it. Guys are going to take off here as Pennington's going to lead things off. Hey, have you had a chance to, just to get back to Vlad, have you had a chance to talk to him and kind of express his excitement about the nomination?
Well, yeah, first of all, you know how close he came, obviously, to making the Baseball Hall of Fame, and to that he was thrilled. And then after the Angels announced to him, you know, via Artie Moreno and Tim Meade and John Carpino that he was going to be inducted into the Angels Hall of Fame, he hits one of those things where he's like, I really can't believe I'm that far removed from playing. And he follows the Angels pretty much every night. He says he turns in late. He knows exactly what Pujols is doing, what Trout is doing, Socha, and all the many friends he has here. Certainly for Vladdy, a very, very special moment, considering that this could catapult him, of course, into the Hall of Fame next January.
Well, he certainly should be in the Hall of Fame.
Pennington popping this one up to Castellanos for the first down here in the third. There's a look at Vladdy's numbers. Not too shabby. Who do you think, which hat do you think he should be enshrined with once he gets that call to Cooperstown?
There's no doubt that he belongs with Angels hat in Cooperstown. You talk about coming into the scene with the Expos and perhaps being tugged maybe that way, but you know what, his years of notoriety and becoming Vladdy and the MVP in the postseason, it all came with the Angels uniform. I think he really understands what that means. And certainly, as you know, Victor, anytime you put something on social media about Vladdy, it lights everything up.
Right. Eric Young Jr. at the plate, center fielder tonight.
So in other words, I hope there's no doubt in his mind that he will go in as an Angel.
Yeah, MVP and his numbers. And tell you what, there was no one that could hit a baseball harder anywhere it's thrown around the home plate than Vlad.
I have a good story about that. We'll follow up after this pitch about throwing the ball to home plate and what the Expos used to tell their catchers to do during infield outfield when Vladdy was throwing.
1-2 to E1. It's down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Victor, here's a mandate from the Expos. Catchers, Vladdy's throwing today. Wear your gear.
Right.
I don't blame them.
Those one-hoppers, man, they could be some shin burgers very quickly.
Young takes a called strike 3. 2 down. Second strikeout for Farmer.
And so far in this game, Jose, both pitchers are really hitting their spots with their fastballs and breakable. Alex Meyer's curveball has been great, but Farmer, we talked about it even earlier today on the pregame show, that high fastball has been very effective for him.
Seems like that's been pretty much the neutralizer in finding a little bit more velocity and movement to implement that changeup. But both guys today have very good movement, nice and easy mechanics towards home plate and throwing strikes.
Top of the order, Andrelton Simmons. I would imagine from where your vantage point is too, watching Alex Meyer, because he's hit 98 tonight, and with that nasty breaking ball, it's almost impossible if he can get locked in and command the strike zone.
What's good from this angle too is we talk about release points when we're analyzing a game, or talking about pre or post game, but certainly you can see very easily from where I'm at when it could get away from you, when it is consistent, and why hitters have a tough time reading what's coming out of somebody's hand when it is all out of that one slot, as you know very well, Mark.
Yeah, Jose, by the way, we talked a lot about that high fastball, whether it's the Tampa Bay Rays, or you see here with Farmer tonight, a number of pitchers, even on the New York Mets we were watching. What is it about that high fastball as a hitter it's so difficult to lay off if it's above the strike zone, even though it might not even be 98, it's around 90 to 94 range? How can you not, as a hitter, let that one go or try to bring that down in the zone?
It was explained to me by one of your best friends, George Brett. He didn't know what he told me. He goes, it's proximity to your eyes. It's closer to your eyes, so you figure it's close to my eyes, I need to jump on it because you see it very well.
Andrelton Simmons hits one back up the middle. A hard hit single, and you heard the ooze from the crowd.
I can tell you also too, from this vantage point, is you're not seeing the ball very well coming out off the bat, and I know the ooze are coming from that. Luckily that ball would not straight at his body, but certainly that came pretty close.
Yes, it did.
He was pretty quick to get out of the way of that one.
Still quite glary as we are this far north here in U.S. land.
So 2-out single puts a man on for Cole Calhoun.
Well, speaking of being locked in, Cole Calhoun locked in, seeing pitches, working some walks, but also driving them all. We saw that last night, that home run to left field.
Cole grounded out in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1. Hey, Pujols on deck. Jose, we were talking about in the first inning that while Albert, you look at the numbers, great for him, especially that 243 batting average. He has squared up a lot of baseball, and right on cue, hit another missile over to the shortstop Iglesias for the out.
Yeah, by the way, now that you said that, hardest ball hit last night was hit by Pujols to Iglesias.
That liner.
Yeah.
More self-preservation than anything else for Jose at shortstop.
Yeah, that was had a little extra curve there at the very end towards the belt buckle, or lower.
Those are some of those things that you have to dig a little deeper on. We get to see it on an everyday basis, so we could tell people what we're seeing with Albert that doesn't necessarily show up in a box score. But the exit velocity and the barreling up of baseballs have been more consistent this year for Albert.
Very true. I mean, we can go back, as you mentioned, and say, yeah, he's been hitting the ball in the nose. I'm apparently don't pay attention to that 248 or the 250, but now it's tangible. You can measure it, and players are starting to believe it a little bit more, to say, okay, you know what, maybe I am not that far off. I mean, even batting average, balls in play, and things like that, players are understanding a little bit more about sometimes when their luck eventually will change when you have the track number and the balls that are falling or they're not falling, and that's the most encouraging part to tell a guy nowadays. There's so much more things to tell you, to say, don't change your approach. It's not you, it's just the ball not finding holes.
Yeah, it's all that data we're seeing. Not only be able to put that on the broadcast, but all the players know the same thing at this point, that exit velocity off the bat, squaring up a baseball. You can have all the conversations with your hitting coach, whether it's Dave Hansen or Paul Sorrento saying, hey, you're hitting the ball well, but you have some data to back that up.
By the way, I like Joe West is right on Simmons on the pitcher, keeping track of that dirt. Make sure Simmons is not slipping. Look at that. Look at Joe, huh? Look at the old vet getting it done.
And also looking in just to see if there's one of those moves over the first base from a right-handed pitcher where that either back leg or front leg collapses first before you throw over, and a potential balk could be called.
2-1.
Not that us pitchers would do that.
No.
You know that, Jose.
Brian Franklin and company, you mean? Names like that? Hey, as long as you can get away with it, why not?
It's not a balk unless they call it.
Exactly.
Right? You're not cheating unless you get caught, Jose.
As a base runner, you're like, wait a minute, what was that? Why is that thing moving that direction when it's going to both places? Wait a minute.
What did you used to like to say? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. 3-1. Foul back.
Oh, what a swing from Cole. That frustration.
Nice segue.
Oh. Get out of that conversation. Right on this 3-1 fastball. That's that high fastball, Jose, again, but this time Cole was on that one.
I want to see him go out there and look, same pitch, maybe a little more out towards the outer third and slap it the other way he's been doing so nicely lately.
Runner going, and he gets a changeup. Cole cuts through it. Third strikeout for Buck Farmer. Jose, always we appreciate it, buddy.
Fellows, hasta luego.
Hasta
Thank you,
luego.
Jose.
Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third.
All-new 2017 Subaru Impreza. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 28 miles per gallon. More than a car, it's a Subaru. And by Jerome's Furniture, home of Jerry's Price and proudly the official furniture store of Angels Baseball.
Pittsfield, USA, Gooby.
Yes.
Man, oh man. There's some unbelievable history in that little building. Studios, a lot of great music. Motown label. As we're scoreless here at Comerica Park. And Kent French visited there.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Hear from Kent a little bit later on. Still a little bit dizzy from merry-go-round last night. And that fastball hits Ian Kinsler in the back of the helmet. Pardon me, not fastball, an off-speed pitch, thankfully. Kinsler appears to be all right. Kevin Rand, the trainer, started to come out, but he had picked up the helmet and went to first base. Always dangerous when you see a hitter, off speed or otherwise, get hit in the helmet like that. Ear flap.
It looked like it was a breaking ball he was throwing. Got him right in that ear flap, exactly.
That's why it's so important sometimes. You see hitters, we talk about Angelton Simmons all the time, that always opens up and he is facing the pitcher essentially. If you ever were to get hit, kind of curl around to your right as a right-handed batter.
We saw that with Chris Iannetta this season, where he's the guy that always would turn in too, and he got hit right in the jaw area. Checking out the helmet, Omar Vizquel.
First one's outside. Alex Avila had a base hit in the first, so he's 1 for 1.
And one thing for Alex, he's got to just forget about what happened there as far as that hit by pitch against Ian Kinsler. He wasn't trying to throw the ball inside. It was a backup breaker ball, but you see it's kind of affected him as the next 3 pitches are not real close to the strike zone.
Kinsler had a running start. The pitch is outside for ball 4. That pitch is a strike. I think they got a shot at him because of the little stutter step by Ian, but 2 men on to start this 3rd inning. Hey, if you have a group of 20 or more interested in experiencing Angels baseball, receive group ticket pricing for as low as $8 per seat. Just call 888-796-HALO or go to angels.com for details.
I think it's a wise decision for a quick visit for Charles Nagy just to try to get him relaxed. He's trying to make him smile and forget what happened to Ian Kinsler, because 4 pitches in a row out of the strike zone. So important for a young pitcher, especially in terms of experience at the major league level, to be able to relax and just think of something else and then get back into the mindset of pitching against one of the best hitters we've ever seen now, Miguel Cabrera at the plate.
Two on, nobody out. Miguel Cabrera at the plate. He drew a walk in the first.
One thing I always thought about in these moments, I'm just 1 pitch away from getting 2 outs. And when you have Miguel Cabrera at the plate, that's what you have to think. You can't think of the fact that if I make a mistake, it could be trouble. So you got to think in terms of getting a ground ball double play.
Cabrera worked that walk in the first inning. 1 of 3 issued by Alex. He has 3 strikeouts as well. 1 hit batter. 1-1. One and 2.
It's an elevated fastball, and he was on that one. And that's the power swing that Cabrera has to hit the ball to right center field. Again, a lot like with Albert Pujols, the legs aren't quite as strong at this moment for Cabrera, so he's using his upper part of his body and his arms and hands more so. Seeing that with Albert quite a bit as he's trying to get healthy enough on that hamstring. But still both so strong they can drive the ball anywhere in a ballpark.
1-2, bouncer toward third. Escobar has it go off his glove, and everybody will be safe. Had an easy double play, I would imagine. Just force out at third and across the diamond to get Cabrera, who doesn't run well. Instead, it's bases loaded, nobody out.
Almost seemed from our angle here that he took his eye off the baseball as he was thinking about running towards the base at third. Good breaker ball, was down. One of those ground balls that had a chance at a double play. Instead, space is loaded. You see him looking right at the base before he looked the ball in his glove. And the result, off the glove, bases loaded.
Error on Escobar, his 7th of the season. Victor Martinez at the plate.
Good hard breaking ball from Alex. Martinez, like we talked about his first bat, he's sitting first pitch fastball. Fouled it straight back. The last at bat on a fastball away.
Kinsler standing at third base, Avila at second, Cabrera at first. Rolled foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Victor Martinez struck out looking in the first inning. Backdoor breaking ball.
Tried to go that backdoor curveball again. Got him looking last at bat. These are those moments as a pitcher. Limit the damage.
Meyer ready, the 1-2. Bouncer towards second base, should be 2. Pennington. And to Simmons. Relay back to Valbuena. 2 down. Run crosses the plate, 1-0 Detroit.
That's a great pitch by Alex Meyer to get a ground ball double play. Talked about trying to limit the damage. Now you have an opportunity to get through this inning with this 1 run allowed. Running fastball away, gets him out in front, rolls it over for a 4-6-3 double play. Perfect pitch for Alex Meyer. Good turn by Pennington and Simmons.
Avila ends up at third base. No RBI for Victor Martinez. And here's JD Martinez, who struck out swinging.
So the big thing now for Alex Meyer is no letdown. You've got an opportunity to get out of this inning with this 1 run allowed. Still a very good hitter at the plate. A very hot hitter in JD Martinez with 10 home runs on the season with 23 RBI. He has 9 of those 23 RBI in the last 7 games. So a very hot, dangerous hitter still here at the plate for Alex Meyer.
Good breaking ball. Good location. Oh, 2. Check swing. It's a called strike 3. Down goes JD Martinez for the second time. So Myers does indeed limit the damage to just 1 run after a bases loaded, no out situation. 3 complete here at Comerica Park. The Halos trail it 1-0. Pujols, Escobar, and Valbuena. Albert hit one sharply, but right to Iglesias in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1.
And Albert has been squaring up the baseball quite a bit, even though the batting average not there at 242. He's been very good hitting fastballs, whether it's a 2-seam or a 4-seam fastball this season. Combined, a 331 batting average coming in today, with 5 of his home runs have been on the fastball, whether 2 or 4-seam this season. So he has been quick on that heater.
This one's lifted out toward left center field. Not very deep. Long run in for Presley. Still coming on. He'll make the catch. While Ian Kinsler's about 5 feet away. Could have easily made the catch.
He said the outfield was an easier play coming in on the baseball, but he had to go a long way to come in on that baseball.
That was a rainmaker of a pop-up.
And now it's time for the AARP Getting to Know Buck Farmer. Buck Farmer from Georgia, 26-year-old, attended Georgia Tech. It's his 10th career start, 34th game overall for Buck Farmer.
He now takes a little bit high.
By the way, that was a pitch that Albert just missed. 2-0, got his fastball, just got underneath it. It's one of those swings too in a pitch that you know under normal circumstances, if you don't get underneath that baseball, it's got a chance going a long way. For someone who knows about hitting a baseball a long way, 600 career home runs for Albert.
He now grounded out to short, leading off the second. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And what, early on here, Buck Farmer's been very impressive as far as changing speeds, not falling into certain patterns, as far as throwing a fastball on a hitter's count.
Escobar rips one out to left field. Upton moves over, makes the catch. 2 down. Another ball squared up. Been some sound tonight off the Angels' bats, but nothing falling in other than the fact that Maldonado had a base hit in the second, and Simmons rocketed one back up the middle in the third. Valbuena up. Castellanos shifts over from third over to the second base position. Luis struck out looking at a second.
Change up away. Again, they've been pitching them away, yet they're playing in the pole. So if you're Luis Valbuena, you just stay back, and we saw Cole Calhoun making that adjustment. He started hitting the ball very well the other way. Cole with a home run to left field right by the 345 sign last night.
Valbuena so far 1 for 12 in the month of June. 1 walk. Three balls and a strike.
Boy, as you try to get your swing together here, you got a perfect count to sit fastball.
Much better swing.
He got his fastball, and he's looking to do some damage. Extra base type swing on that fastball. 3-1.
Oh, he went down looking in that second inning, and that was on a fastball that you would think was in his zone. Enter third.
Yeah, as a right-handed pitcher, you don't seem to get that baseball back a whole lot when you throw a fastball in that part of the plate against a lefty.
And down goes Val. Bueno, 1-2-3 inning for Farmer. A shutdown inning as well into the bottom of the fourth. With the Tigers up 1-0.
The major, Scooter Gennett, last night, Cincinnati, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 home runs. 17th player in Major League history to do so, a 4-home run game, 10 RBI. Also had a base hit in the game, an RBI. First Cincinnati Red to have 4 home runs a game. When you put it in perspective, 38 career home runs for Scooter, but 4 last night. That's a pretty good game.
Yeah. Real name Ryan Joseph Gennett. Scooter was a nickname that he gave himself because he loved watching the movie Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he would refuse to call himself Ryan. He wanted to be called Scooter. Scooter Gennett.
Scooter Gennett.
I don't remember Muppet Babies. Do you?
No.
Like the Muppets, though.
Yeah.
Justin Upton to lead things off. Castellanos to follow. Then Presley. Alex Meyer, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 1 hit batter. Upton struck out swinging in the second. Halos with 2 hits, Tigers with 1.
Not many times he's overthrown his curveball, but that one by Alex overthrown. The one thing as a pitching coach and Charles Nagy looking on just to make sure he sees something, whether it's good or bad, to be able to relay out to Martin Maldonado to see if he sees something wrong as far as the delivery. 6'9" frame from Alex Meyer. And we talked about how well he has thrown, just 15 hits allowed since May 9th. It's a minimum of 4 starts. You got Rich Hill, Alice Keuchel, who had to leave the game today, or scratched from his start.
Yeah, due to illness. That would have been a matchup of 1 and 2 as far as ERA leaders in the American League. Keuchel against Jason Vargas.
What a story Jason Vargas has been for Kansas City. Our good friend, former Angel. Also Long Beach State.
Coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Kansas City came back from that game last night against Houston. were down big in that game. Like Moustakas walked off against Houston.
But Castellanos didn't like that strike call. Grounded out in the second.
That is a nasty breaking ball. That's the 6th time in this game for Alex Meyer. He's been ahead of the count 0-2. Starts in the strike zone, ends up out of the strike zone.
And Castellanos goes down swinging.
I'm glad he went right back to that pitch. When you see a hitter swing at that, you can expand a little bit more. So he did. He gets a swing and miss. See how sharp this breaking ball is. Straight down, 84-mile-an-hour curveball. Front shoulder in very well. Blocked by Martin Maldonado. 6 punch-outs in the game for Alex Meyer.
This one down the left field line toward the seats and out of play. No balls and a strike on Presley, who had a 2-out walk in the second.
Might be a good time now for Alex Meyer to take a little bit of time to get back to that pitching rubber. Andrelton Simmons had to run a long way to try to track that pop-up. See how it's taking his time, making sure that Simmons is ready.
Six strikeouts tonight for Meyer. 3 walks and hit batter. Two and one. Got to go back to that breaking ball.
The outfielder's playing. Presley hit the ball the other way.
Bouncer to the right side. Valbuena to the backhand. Foot race, and Alex Meyer beats Alex Presley. The battle of Alexes. 4 complete at Comerica. Tigers leading at 1-0.
Top of the 5th, and let's go back to last night's interaction between an Angel fan and of course Miguel Cabrera. It's worthy of our Carl's Cam replay. Well, he's saying he's a Tiger fan. He was also a Mike Trout fan, and Miguel Cabrera said, well, how about me? And he finally changed the jersey to Miguel Cabrera, saying, yes, you're one of my favorite. And before the game here, or after the game, they got some baseballs from the Angels and a signed bat from Miguel Cabrera. What a nice moment for Miguel to be able to give the fan the bat, and the Angels the same thing, some baseballs. Smart kid, too.
Yeah.
MVP jerseys for both. Great smile he had, too, that interaction.
I would ask the kid first question, before I give you anything, who was the real MVP that year when Cabrera won the Triple Crown?
Oh.
Put him on the spot.
Well, it'll go, well, Mike Trout had the lead in WAR statistic, so I think I'm going to go with Trout. And then Miguel will go, whoa, tap the brakes here. I'm a Triple Crown winner. But that WAR stat.
Maldonado flares one out toward shallow right center. Kensler easily backs up, puts it away for the first out. A team 1 for 2 on the night. We'll bring up Ben Revere. Revere fly ball to left field in the second. Off speed pitch up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Pennington on deck. The only run in this game in the third. That was the double play ball that Victor Martinez hit into, netting the Tigers a run. .67 pitches for Farmer, 38 have been strikes. Full count.
With Pennington on deck, it'd be good to see Ben Revere get on base, whether it's via a walk or a base hit. That speed, chance to steal a bag.
Out toward left center. Presley moving over. 2 down. Hey, Christmas is June. Right around the corner, Wednesday, June 14th, when the Yankees in town. Fans in attendance get a Rookie of the Year blanket, courtesy of St. Joseph Hogue Health, while supplies last. For more information, go to angels.com.
Oh, it's getting oh so close to that.
I'll stick with the real deal. Real deal, Holyfield.
Yes.
With Pennington popped out of his first plate appearance. He's 0 for 1.
Went upstairs with that fastball after a couple of changeups away and off the plate.
2-2. Foul back.
Really mixing the matchup between his 4-seam, 2-seam fastball and his changeup.
Off the plate, full count.
Pretty smooth delivery also. Stays balanced very well over the pitching rubber, hides the baseball well.
Pennington lifting out to center field. I think the windup is very Verlander-esque.
Exactly.
Kicks his leg and stuff. Well, to the bottom of the 5th inning, still 1-0 Tigers.
By a Ram Trucks. Talked about that curveball, been very effective today, and it has been this entire season for Alex Meyer. On display tonight. Fastball has been very good, but that breaking ball has been excellent. Fastball 97, getting a swing and miss on a break ball. 6 punch outs, just one away from his career high of 7, which he has done 4 times, including 3 of his last 4 starts for Alex Meyer. Impressive so far in this game for Alex.
9-1-2 for Detroit here in the 5th. Iglesias, Kinsler, and Avila.
Now face 18 batters, 12 times he's thrown the first pitch strike. Getting a little bit more consistent with his strike throwing ability.
Ground ball to second. Almost sounded as if Iglesias broke his back. 1 down.
72 pitches so far in this game for Alex Meyer. 38 of them have been fastball, 32 curveballs, 2 changeups. But some good life in that fastball. He's broken a couple bats with fastballs in.
Top of the order, Ian Kinsler now coming up. Kinsler popped out of the first and then was hit by a pitch, a breaking ball, to open up the 3rd inning. He scored the run on the ground out by Victor Martinez. They called it an unearned run as well against Alex.
Yeah, we were talking about that in between. They could do that as official scorekeeper on that one, because it would have been 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and then that ground ball to Victor Martinez doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a run scored.
You can never assume a double play. And I think if the ball is hit right at Escobar and his play is to first, and the runners would have ended up at second and third base in that regard. But I think because I think in the scorer's judgment, he was going to field and go to third base and get the force out, and they would have definitely gotten the force out.
Yeah,
that's why it's an unearned run. Three balls and a strike.
Kind of overcompensated on his delivery as his curveball this time around at Kinsler after that curveball last at bat hits him on the helmet, backed up on him.
And a walk. Fourth issued by Alex. Comes with one out here in the fifth. Avila coming up now. Meyer, by the way, at 77 pitches, 43 of it strikes. Avila, the catcher, on board twice with a single and a walk.
Still real good life on his fastball. 896 in the 78th pitch. He has maintained his velocity in his starts, which is very important to see. There's not a lot of innings or pitches really when you look at his career, even in the minor leagues. Still a very fresh arm for Alex Meyer. See his fastball, best fastball, 98 back in the first inning. This inning, 97. So not much of a drop off at all for Alex Meyer.
Ball in the dirt. Kinsler will advance. Wild pitch, putting man in scoring position.
Not an easy pitch to be able to keep in front if you're Martin Maldonado. Almost looked like it was a changeup. When you haven't thrown a lot of changeup in the course of the game and all of a sudden you're mixing in another one later in the game in your 79th pitch, more difficult to have a feel for that one. A changeup is a feel pitch, and he kind of muscled up on that one and bounced it, and it gets away from Maldonado for a wild pitch.
Caught the corner. 1-2.
Second wild pitch of the season for Alex Meyer.
But going back to that changeup, that's a little bit of a product of, you got a guy, you're worried about the guy at first base, trying to be a little too quick perhaps.
Yeah,
arm drags.
Yes, and when you try to shorten up your leg kick, more of a slide step to be quicker, very difficult to play catch up on your delivery, especially with a changeup. You can get away with it a little bit more so with your fastball than would be on your changeup.
One ball, two strikes with one out. Cabrera on deck. Look at that backdoor breaking ball.
Looked like initially Martin Maldonado wanted to show the high target. He's just trying to set him up for a breaking ball down, just in case there's any sign relayed from Kinsler to Avila at the plate.
Or in case Alex Avila has incredible peripheral vision. and is maybe sneaking a look back.
Well, veteran hitters will do that. It's kind of with that little, as you get ready in your position to swing the bat, you kind of move that hands and look back.
And Avila goes down swinging. That's a great spot on that breaking pitch. 2 outs.
Now tying a career high with 7. He's done it now 5 times. Backdoor break a ball once again. Another strikeout on a curveball. 6 of the 7 strikeouts have been with his curveball tonight. Mention those numbers. 132 batting average coming into the game on his curveball.
Yeah, I always, as a hitter, you always would prefer location than the actual pitch.
Exactly.
I never trusted the guy at second base though either. Just in case. Cabrera fouls it. Oh, what count? That one going into the dugout.
Boy, back in the day, the Milwaukee Brewers, when they had Paul Molitor, Gantner, Robin Yount, a lot of those guys were really good as far as giving location to the hitters when they were at second base.
Off speed, grounded to short. And that walk, stranded in scoring position. 5 complete here in Detroit. The Angels down 1-0. Brought to you by Metro Nissan, doing it right. It's a beautiful night here downtown Detroit. The Angels trailing at 1-0 as we start the 6th inning. Both starting pitchers have been very, very good. Halos have picked up 2 hits against Buck Farmer. Alex Myers yielded just 1. A couple of walks, a hit batter, and a double play ball netted the only run of the game for Detroit. Farmer so far 4 strikeouts, no walks, those 2 singles. They'll face Eric Young Jr., Andrelton Simmons, and Cole Calhoun in the Angels half of the 6th.
He's only allowed 5 hits total in 11 and a third innings pitched so far this season with the Tigers. And Farmer's looking in and wondering where that pitch was. That got a lot of the strike zone.
Yep.
I still think it's a good idea, even after that first pitch, to think in terms of trying to push bunt or even drag bunt down the first baseline.
They don't really bunt a whole lot on Miguel Cabrera. They didn't bunt on him at third base.
Castellanos, I think he bunt on him too.
Absolutely. Double barrel action going for the Tigers right now in their bullpen. I pulled the shoot a little early on Buck Farmer.
Yes.
Right? He's been dealing. Next pitch will be the 80.
He's gotten 8 fly ball outs. Talked about that high fastball, even his changeup, getting a lot of fly balls and pop-ups. Again, another pop-up. This one out of play. 80 pitches. Most pitches thrown in any inning was back in the third inning when he threw 18 pitches. Gave up a single. Vandleton Sims, that line drive right back up the middle.
Payoff on the way to EY. He'll lift one out to left. Upton is there. One down.
And another fly ball out. Again, trying to run that fastball upstairs. We talked about how many fly ball outs he's gotten in this game. He also has 4 strikeouts, 3 ground ball outs, but the majority of his outs in the air.
Simmons 1 for 2 with a fly ball to left, a single up the middle. Two-one count. Pulled foul.
I think at this point, the way Farmer is pitching, I think the Angels would be happy to see the bullpen come in for the Tigers.
Like I said, I'm kind of surprised just to see action right now. Just 2 base runners. That's gloved by Castellanos. A little off-speed pitch out in front of it. 2 down.
And now it's time for the driver's seat, brought to you by the new 2017 Kia Sorento. Cole Calhoun coming to the plate, has been swinging the bat very well. 7-game history, batting average just under 480 at 478. Impressive numbers as far as the home runs, 4 RBI, and also 5 walks during that stretch. And those numbers, previous 23 games, struggling with the 134. He is locked back in now.
Oh, what count on Cole, who grounded out in the first inning, struck out in the third.
Well, he headed the count 0-2, has retired 9 in a row, including 5 straight fly ball outs.
Oh, 2 to Cole upstairs. He's been consistent tonight. Like you said in the from the get-go, as far as the scouting report for Buck Farmer, trying to live upstairs to that fastball. Looks so tantalizing. And he got him upstairs to that fastball. Halos are down in order here in the 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Alex Meyer has been a very good start so far tonight, trying to keep it a one-run game.
Yeah, Farmer's been good. Alex Meyer just as good. Tight game here in Detroit.
His rehab. This Mike Trout is drinking Pepsi's, eating hot dogs.
And he's still keeping his Mike Trout game face going.
You still can't tell who he is.
No.
Looks comfortable. Take a look at the line for Alex Meyer. 84 pitches, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, tying a career high. 4 walks, 1 hit batter. Against the Martinez's and Upton. This could be great if you had BJ Upton here and the Uptons as well. Victor and JD not related. Victor struck out looking at the first and grounded into that double play in the 3rd inning.
And you can see he was sitting on that first pitch fastball again. That first at bat he got it, fouled it off. The second at bat threw him a curveball first pitch curveball here.
And that's ripped into the corner in right field. That's going to go for extra bases. Or maybe not.
What a play by Cole. What a play by Cole Calhoun out in right field. Keep a double play in order. Wise decision by Victor Martinez not to try to stretch that into a double. A lot of knee issues the last couple of seasons for Victor. He turns with that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Off the wall, played perfectly by Cole, in position to throw a rocket in the second. Martinez able to stop. He was thinking about it and then stops right there. And Andrelton Simmons, he knows he's got to get back quickly with Andrelton Simmons with the baseball.
JD Martinez, a couple of strikeouts tonight. 1 swinging, 1 looking.
3rd time through. Batting average though against Alex Meyer this season, .333. And through that 3rd time through the lineup for the Tigers. Victor Martinez with a base hit to start this inning.
Merrill Petit getting ready. One and two.
Lower part of the strike zone. JD Martinez did not like that call. That's a fastball at the knees for a strike. And Magic going with the breaker ball now. He's got him twice on curveballs.
1-2. Way outside. Two balls, two strikes, nobody out. Leadoff single for Victor Martinez. And down goes JD Martinez for the third time tonight. New career high in strikeouts for Alex Meyer. That's his 8th punch out.
Very impressive tonight. Starts in the strike zone and ends up breaking out off the outside corner. Sharp break to it also. That's a hard curveball he throws. 84, 87 mile an hour curveball. Generally you think in terms of a slider that firm.
There's so many variations of a curveball. You know, the 12-6,
11-5 type break. And especially you can change speeds with it. Flash Gordon, Tom Gordon was very good as far as changing speeds with his curveball. And you're seeing a lot more pitchers throw a curveball more so to even sliders now, because a lot more high fastballs. It's set up by that curveball in the same plane.
Upton with a couple of strikeouts, fouls this one back, and he's behind in the count at 0-2.
Now that was a dangerous pitch there to Justin Upton. He is very good on high fastballs, and he had a high fastball to hit, and that's why Martin Maldonado is going to go out and give him a little refresher and make sure you don't throw that fastball upstairs. You see him reaching back and got away with that one. A good swing, but by Upton on that fastball.
Did a recharge visit?
Yes, recharge. Said, let's think in terms of breaking ball right now. Another 0-2 count for Alex.
Upton lines one out to left field. Too good of a breaking ball.
Yeah, too much of the strike zone. He had him set up for it. Again, a lot of the plate. When you're ahead of the count 0-2, you can afford to bounce, especially when you have such a good defender behind the plate like Martin Maldonado. Now you have a batter up here who's got good power going the other way, has that inside-out type swing. But also a guy, if you get a ground ball, you get a double play, finish off the inning, and have a very solid 6 innings.
Castellanos fouling it back. Big swing. He's 0 for 2 with a ground down to strikeout. 2 singles in this inning, 3 overall against Alex Meyer tonight.
Castellanos has rolled into 6 double plays.
Fouled back off of, I think that was pumping up our Alan Porter that got that foul.
And Maldonado real quick to be able to make sure that Alan Porter was okay. Right off the mask. Was able to hold him up.
Oh, 2. Trying to give him a chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Already a career high with 8 strikeouts, trying to get number 9. Big batter right here for Alex Meyer. He wants to stay in the game. He gets him. I think Mike Scioscia gives him the opportunity to be able to finish off the 6th inning. You know that pitch count getting closer to the century mark.
Called strike 3, rings him up, 2 down.
I'm going to say that was a perfect breaking ball. And it's been a good one throughout this game now. 9 strikeouts in the game for Alex Meyer. Stays on top. Gets the call. It's about a half a baseball off the outside corner, but he's been consistent with his curveball. You're going to get those borderline pitches called. Framed perfectly once again by Maldonado. Caught that curveball out in front, given the perception that that was in the strike zone. Good job by Maldonado.
Alex Presley, a walk and a ground out. 2 on 2 outs, 1-0 Detroit. Snap throw to second base, but Victor Martinez sniffed that one out.
Now you're seeing Victor Martinez trying to get a little bit bigger secondary lead just in case Presley gets a base hit into the outfield.
I think you went. No. 2-0.
It's pretty close to crossing the plate. See if Presley was able to hold up. Pretty close. I think that was the right call by Andy Fletcher, third base umpire.
Line toward left center field. Eric Young Jr. is positioned perfectly, tracks it down for the 3rd out. 6 in the books. The Angels down 1-0 at Pujols to lead things off in the 7th. Innings, career high 9 strikeouts for him, and he departs down to 1-0, but overall another encouraging start.
Yeah, and I like his little fist pump after Eric Young Jr. tracked down that line drive by Presley out in left center field. 59 strikes of those 101 pitches thrown for Alex Meyer. Very, very good start tonight. Looking for some offense now. Albert Pujols leading off here, top of the 7th.
Albert tonight 0 for 2 with a ground down to fly ball to center.
He's going back-to-back curveballs to Albert. Mentioned those numbers on fastballs coming in the game. .331 batting average. 5 home runs versus a fastball, 2-seam or 4-seam.
Albert drives it to left field. It's a base hit. Leadoff single for Albert.
And he jumped on a fastball. And go back to my Hyundai key for this game. You'll accompany me. He's looking for multiple base runners. We talked about that coming into the game against Farmer. He's been very good as far as not allowing that to happen, but an opportunity here now with a leadoff single by Albert Pujols.
Fidel Escobar 0 for 2 with a ground down to fly ball to left. He'll bounce this with a third. Castellanos to the backhand. Starts the double play, 2 down. Good night double play that Yunel's grounded into this year.
And a quick one too, especially when you have a pitcher on the mound who, hasn't had a whole lot of stress, but gives up a hit into the 7th inning. Right away, he can breathe now with a double play ball.
Brings up Luis Valbuena. He has struck out twice. Missed inside. 3-1. Maldonado on deck.
Remember that last bat on a 3-1 pitch, he had a good swing at it. Eventually ended up striking out, but the 3-1 pitch right on it.
And he'll work the walk. Just the 2nd of the month.
Yeah, they're looking at his Alex Meyer's finger. It looks like, speaking of going down to the bullpen potential, looks like the Tigers are going to do that now.
Well, they had action in their bullpen last inning. And with a 2-out walk here, Brad Ausmus coming out. Going to take the baseball from Buck Farmer, who will depart to a nice round of applause. Farmer tonight allowing just 3 hits, striking out 5, and he'll depart with a man at first base. A pitching change here in the 7th. Halos down 1-0.
you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid. Go the distance with 84 MPG and a 566 total driving range. By Mercury Insurance, we're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save.
1-0 Tigers. A 2-out walk to Luis Valbuena forces Brent Ausmus to bring in Alex Wilson. 27th appearance of the season. 1-2 mark at 2.49 ERA. 25 and a third innings, 15 strikeouts, and 6 walks. He's going to face Martin Maldonado with a man at first.
Yeah, fastball is 90-94. Cut fastball, slider, changeup.
Almost got him in the elbow. Martin, base hit in the second, popped out to Kinsler in the 5th.
Very impressive start for Buck Farmer. Second very impressive start of the season. It's that cut fastball, upper part of the strike zone.
Wilson in his 3rd season with the Tigers, 62 games last year. Maldonado fouls this one at the plate, 1-2.
2 of the 3 pitches thrown to Maldonado has been fastballs in, and more likely you'll see a slider or cutter away.
Time called. Ben Revere on deck. Pujols opened up the 7th with a base hit, but Escobar jumped on the first pitch of his plate appearance, grounded into a double play. And then Valbuena worked the walk. Chopper to the right side. Kinsler will field this one and throw out Maldonado. The Angels are done here in the 7th. Stretch time in Detroit. It's still 1-0 Tigers. The Los Angeles Angels, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Alex Meyer is indeed done after 6 innings tonight. Career high 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, a hit batter, 1 unearned run. And it's Yusmeiro Petit taking over. He'll face 9-1-2. 22nd game for Yusmeiro. 1-0 mark at 2.04 ERA.
Last 7 innings pitched, 11 punch-outs for Petit. A great job by Alex Meyer tonight. Career high, 9 strikeouts.
Laces tonight, a fly ball to left and a ground ball to second. Meyer tonight also threw a career high 101 pitches. 1-1.
Pretty consistent velocity throughout the game, though, for Alex. Real sharp breaking ball.
Laces, this one sharply to Andrelton. 1 down. Hey, join the Angels Friday, June 16th. Christmas in June continuing. Royals are in town. Fans in attendance at a Santa Rally Monkey courtesy of Farmer John while supplies last. For more information, just go to angels.com.
I think Mike Trout approves right there.
He's not going to take off the Mike Trout mask until the Angels score a run.
That's crazy.
Trout is taking a little different shape as the game has progressed. That is determination.
Yes.
Kinsler skies one on the first base side down the line. Pennington cutting across and can't get there. Boy, Cliff had a long way to go. Valbuena kind of drifting with that one. Some wind here. And it falls into foul territory, so no 1 count. 0-2 count, pardon me.
And Cole really no chance at all from where he was in right field. And Cliff Pennington made a valiant effort to get there. Especially where you see Cliff Pennington playing against Ian Kinsler towards the second base bag.
Both teams with 3 hits. Tigers have stranded 7. Halos have left 3 on. One and 2. Alex Avila on deck. Petit. Well, Kinsler thought he was punched out.
That's what
he was walking back.
Yeah, he thought that was a strike on the outside corner.
Joe West says he didn't go around either. Looked like he went around.
Yes. He was looking back. Yeah, look at his face right there. That's a little bit of a giveaway.
That's awesome. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll foul it back.
A pretty good swing there too, and then high pitch. He's always been a very good high ball hitter. That was a great look. I got away with that one. I think I was struck out twice in that pitch.
2-2 again. And Kessler will go down swinging. Took 8 pitches, but 2 outs now.
And another strikeout from Petit. 10th strikeout in the game for Angels pitchers against the Tigers. Another breaking ball, this time a curveball. 76-mile-an-hour curveball from Petit to get a swing and miss.
Good off-speed pitch.
Does have a real good changeup. He sells it well. Good arm angle. Good arm motion.
One to one. Avila, a single, a walk, and a strikeout. 1 for 2. Pulled toward first and a diving stop by Valbuena. Petit covering, and Yusmeiro with a 1-2-3 7th. We head to the 8th inning. Halos still down 1-0.
Tigers head to the top of the 8th inning in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Ken French back with you inside the historic Studio A at the Motown Museum, where such great acts like Diana Ross and the Supremes, Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson recorded their #1 hits. And speaking of great acts, join myself and Jose Mota for Angels Live Postgame presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers, where we always stop in the name of love. But right now, we'll send it back to Co-America Park to 2 guys who are working hard on the night shift. Victor Rojas and Mark Gubicek.
Smooth Kent French. Smokey Robinson, my neighbor. Good guy, real good guy.
Alex Wilson back out of the bump here to pitch the 8th inning. Ben Revere to lead things off. Revere tonight 0 for 2. A couple of fly ball outs. He'll bounce this with foul. Bottom third of the order, Revere, Pennington, and Young.
So far, 2 fly ball outs for Ben. Thinking in terms of hitting the ball on the ground or on the line. Get on base.
1-2 count. Day game tomorrow, 1:10 start locally. And after the game, the Angels head down to Houston, take on the Astros for 3. Astros currently trailing Kansas City 3-2 in the 4th at Kauffman Stadium. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kinsler calling for it. Iglesias calls him off. 1 down. Take a look at the in-game box score for the Angels. Not a whole lot to report on. Angels just a total of 3 singles tonight. That's how good the starter Buck Farmer was. 6 2/3 for him tonight. 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. The Angels have yet to get a man to second base. Pennington 0 for 2. Pop up to third and a fly ball to center.
The Angels have been shut out 4 times this season, all 4 on the road. Now, if you're Cliff Pennington, you may be taking 1 or 2 pitches as you try to get on base here.
And 1 run tonight for Detroit, 2 unearned. Well pitched game on both sides. Eric Young Jr. on deck. 3-1.
And indeed takes 2 pitches in a row. One thing you'll notice from Alex Wilson, in his glove, he moves the glove around. See this fastball, upper part of the strike zone, catches the corner. Kind of fans that glove because at one point or another was tipping a pitch to a batter, so tries to do it every single pitch he throws. A lot of times you'll do that on a splitter or even a breaking ball where you move the glove, and all of a sudden hitter will recognize that and look for that pitch.
Out to left field, Upton back a couple of steps. 2 down.
"12 outs via in the air, whether it's a line drive or a fly ball for Angels hitters against Tigers pitching tonight."
Eric Young Jr., a strikeout and a fly ball to left. He'll sky this one to center. Presley underneath, and the Angels down in order in the 8th. We'll head to the bottom of the inning. Still 1-0 Detroit, with the heart of the order coming up for Detroit.
today. Josh Donaldson, all-star worthy swing here. A 2-run home run, giving the Toronto Blue Jays the victory in extra innings against the Oakland A's. One-time MVP of the American League, Josh Donaldson, 2-run home run in the 10th. Certainly all-star worthy swing from Josh Donaldson.
Yusmeiro Petit back out for the 8th inning. Cabrera, Martinez, and Martinez. And Petit delivers a strike. Biggie. Tonight 0 for 2. A walk reached on the error by Escobar in the 3rd inning. And grounded out in the 5th. Error by Unell is one that led to the run. The only run in the game. Reaching for this one toward the hole. Simmons has it. 1 down. One thing we've seen in this series, and even back at the Big A when these two teams met in early May, when it comes to Cabrera, you can show him in one time, and if he doesn't get it, and he hasn't been able to really drive the ball this year, kind of started exposing him a little bit away.
Yeah, and he used to be able to even go inside out and hit the ball hard on a fastball in the right center field, but those legs just aren't quite underneath him this season. So a lot of times, we talked about it earlier, using his hands and his upper part of his body to do the damage. And when you're out in front, when you're not using your lower half, very difficult to square up the baseball.
Victor Martinez had a single in his last at bat. He's 1 for 3. And he'll shoot this one out toward left and out of play, slicing into the seats. And a base hit, second of the night for Martinez. So he's on board with 1 out. JD coming up. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Angels baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Angels home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video, highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. JD Martinez 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs tonight.
Yeah, Alex Meyer threw him a lot of really good breaking balls in his 3 at-bats.
And this was out to left field, a base hit. So back-to-back singles puts 2 men on with 1 out here in the 8th.
And they're going to be a pinch runner. I thought at some point they may indeed do that for Victor Martinez. Now in scoring position, pinch runner coming in.
Dixon Machado takes over.
Big moment here now for Petit and the Angels with a very dangerous hitter at the plate.
Upton picked up a single in his last at bat, 1 for 3. What? Alex Meyer was able to limit things to the first 6 innings tonight. See if Petit can limit this keep this a 1-0 game going into the 9th. Tails will have the top of the order coming up.
Brooks Pounders warming in the bullpen for the Angels now. Petit has been very good. We talked about coming into the season, some pitchers out of the bullpen that gave you some length, and Petit has been very good. 15 games this year, he's going at least an inning and a third for Mike Scioscia out of the bullpen. It's the most in the majors.
Two balls, two strikes, trying to get him to expand with that off speed. Machado, the pinch runner at second base. JD Martinez at first. Nick Castellanos on deck. Upton skies one high and deep to left field. A hanging breaking ball. It's a 3-run home run for Justin Upton. It's 4-0 Detroit.
We talked about him early in the game, the power that he has. Now 24 extra base hits with 2 on. Justin Upton. It's our top tier play. Brought to you by Arco. Got a break a ball from Petit and did not miss this one. Got a lot of the plate, went down and got it. He's got that upward type swing on there, that swing path, very conducive to a hanging break a ball to hit a long way, and that's exactly what he did. 3-run home run, giving the Tigers now a 4-0 lead.
Yusmeiro Petit is out of the game. We're in the 8th inning with 1 out. It's now a 4-0 Tiger lead. Deficit for the Angels. That evaporated into a 4-run deficit. A hanging breaking ball by Yusmeiro Petit, and Upton certainly did not miss it. As Brooks Pounders takes over on the mound here, trying to get the final 2 outs of the 8th inning. 6th game this year, 1-0 record. 4 earned runs. He's worked 4 2/3 innings. Upton's home run, his 12th of the season, now with 34 runs batted in. Nick Castellanos, the third baseman, 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Angels acquiring Brooks Pounders from the Royals this past offseason. Ahead of the count at 0 balls, 2 strikes. '26-year-old. Went to Temecula Valley High School. Second round pick of the Pirates in 2009. One and 2. Pounders pitching at AAA this year. 14 games, made 1 start. 1-0 with a 3.42 ERA for Salt Lake. 20 punch-outs in 23 2/3 innings. Fouled off.
Tried to run that fastball above the strike zone. Got the upper part of the zone, though. Castellano was able to foul that one off.
Line towards center. It's a base hit. 4th consecutive hit for Detroit here in the 8th.
And that's that swing we talk about a lot with Castellanos. Hits the ball to center, to right center field. Allow him to get his arms extended. Looks like another pinch runner. Andrew Romine.
One-time Angel Andrew Romine. Whom the Angels sent to Detroit in exchange for Jose Alvarez.
Played a number of different positions, so will be in there defensively at third also.
There's Alex Presley.
3 stolen bases for Andrew Romine, who was featured on the pregame show, mic'd up this afternoon.
One ball, 1 strike. Once we get to the 9th inning, Simmons, Calhoun, and Pujols for the Angels. Two and 1.
Brooks Pounders with that hard little slider, but fastball is going to be 91 to 95 range. Pretty quick move by Pounders. Almost able to pick off Romine at first base.
Guys checking out video in the dugout. It's Lloyd McClendon, the hitting coach. JD Martinez picked up a single in this inning after going 0 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats with 3 strikeouts.
There was a time when you had to run upstairs if you're going to look at video. Now you can watch it, look at it in the dugout. Good fastballs from Pounders.
Short lead for Romine. 2-2 to Presley. Flips one out the left. Revere's there. 2 down. So here comes Iglesias with 2 outs. 0 for 3. 1 fly ball out, 2 ground outs.
It's a good hard slider from Pounders, getting that outside corner.
Fouled off. Oh, 2 now. Another foul. Boy, a lot of souvenirs in this 8th inning. Spread out everywhere. These fans being showered with baseballs. Count remains at 0-2 And he got him upstairs. We will head to the 9th inning. Halos were down 1-0 until Justin Upton made it 4-0. We'll head to the 9th. Top of the order coming up for the Halos. See if they can get it done. Descend upon Aaron Hills for one of golf's most anticipated events of the year. Dustin Johnson looks to defend his title, but Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, among many, primed to tame golf's ultimate test to be crowned America's champion. The 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox, FS1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Some serious young talent on that PGA Tour.
Justin Wilson takes over for Alex Wilson here in the ninth inning. Tigers up 4-0.
Power fastball, 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, 92 to 100. We'll throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Andrew Bromine stays in the game. He's at third base. Andrelton, a 1-for-3 game. One ball, one strike. Simmons fouling it back. And Simmons at the plate. Angels traded Sean Newcomb to the Atlanta Braves, part of the package to get Andrelton. Newcomb's going to make his Major League debut on Saturday, pitching against the Mets for Atlanta. Joe Simpson, the Braves TV analyst, just texted me to let me know that Newcomb's getting the call.
Good to see that opportunity for him. Certainly can rush that fastball upper 90s. Control, always been an issue. Has settled down and thrown a lot more strikes. That firm fastball upstairs, 96.
Three-two now, and he walked him. Leadoff man is on board.
Now it's time for the Land Rover above and beyond player of the game. Justin Upton with that 3-run home run in the 8th inning as a 6-game hit streak. And 476 with the 11 RBI and 3 home runs. Home with that 3-home run tonight. He also has a single. Talked about that dangerous hitter that he is. Great power. Drove that out. 3-run home run in the 8th inning.
Speaking of hit streaks, Cole's on the line here. 7-gamer. 0 for 3 tonight with a ground down. 2 strikeouts. And he takes down an in. Alex Wilson went an inning and a third. All zeros for him.
I think that pitch was in the strike zone, but the way Alex Avila tried to frame that pitch, he reached back. You don't get that call a whole lot when you're setting up away.
Ground ball to second. 2 down. Angels down to the last out. It's Albert Pujols coming up. Albert with a single in the 7th, a 1 for 3 night. Now with 2,877 career hits, tying Omar Vizquel. .43rd all time. And the kid's not giving up.
Nope.
One and oh. This one's popped up. Cabrera's there. Tigers take game 2 by the final of 4-0.
Yeah, two big stories. Justin Upton, his 3-run home run. Buck Farmer, solid. Again, it's two very good starts in a row in the bullpen.